Hey, what's up, everybody? You got Banana M here, and I got Reese with me. This is our second installation of Meet the Molds. This time, we're going to be covering the new Westside Discs molds that are coming to Disc Golf Valley, and the Sinus. It's a new mold by Latitude 64 that is going to be entering the game soon. We're going to be walking through the molds, looking at their similarities to existing molds in the game, and letting you know how you can best use them. We're first going to be taking a look at the Sinus, which is a putter from Latitude 64, coming back into the game like it's coming back in real life right now, recreated. After the Sinus, we'll go over to the Crown. The Crown is a putter coming to the game by Westside Discs. Could be a lot of fun to get this one out there. Following the Crown, we're going to move over to the Pine. The Pine is the one new mid-range that's coming in with these new Westside Discs collection. After that, we're going to take a look at the Fortress. This is going to be an exciting one. Make sure you don't miss us talking about the Fortress coming up soon here. Following the Fortress, we'll be looking at the World, the new distance driver coming from Westside Discs. Potentially a lot of excitement coming in this one. And after the World, we'll briefly take a look again at the Prince. We know it's not brand new to the game, but it's brand new to being widely available for everyone to be able to access and consider using for their game. Alright, Reese, let's start out with the Sinus. We know it's the Latitude 64 mold coming back in real life without the thumb track that it once had. Reese, what can you tell us about the Sinus in-game?
This is a much older Latitude mold that they're re-releasing in real life and they want to have in the game. Kind of draw some parallels you'll see with the Challenger, so it's very fitting, I think, that they are using those flight numbers reworked into this disc. It has low glide and reliable fade in real life, but in game, this will probably be one of the most popular putters for throw-ins. It's really straight with a good fade right at the end of the flight. It's turn resistant when you aim low, which means that you can use it for throwing in a lot of distances, a lot of different distances, without having to adjust your aim point much. If you've been really wanting a Challenger to be widely available again, then you got to get hyped for this one.
So there you go. If you've been asking for a new Chally, bruh, you got a Sinus now to fill that slot for you. Alright, now let's get started with the West Side molds. First up is going to be the Crown in an overstable putter slot. Let's hear from Reese about what the Crown can do in game.
So the Crown is a putter mold from Westside. It's most similar in numbers to a Marshall, so lots of pushing fade. I don't have a lot of experience with putters like this, but they're best used aimed low and with more power to help straighten them out. Loftier bids need to account for fade more than aiming low and throwing in with more power.
Certainly most similar in numbers to the Marshall, but a similar style as well to the Pier. So if you're a Pier thrower and you're looking for something that might have a little bit more lift, tiny bit less turn, and the same fade as the Pier, this one might be worth checking out for you. Let's move to the mid-ranges and check out the Pine that has come to the game. In real life, it's a 5402, so a slightly overstable mid-range. Let's figure out what this thing is going to do when it gets into the game.
The Pine is a slightly overstable mid. It reminds me of Compass or Warship in game. It's one of the faster mids with lower drag, but it does also have lower lift to even out the distance and make it similar to what's already out there. I like how it doesn't lift way up into the air like a Warship or Trust does, and that helps it feel more controllable, especially on holes like Lakeside 8. I think it has a really pretty flight, and if you prefer overstable mids, it's definitely worth trying.
Alright, this next one in the fairways is exciting. This one's the Fortress. The Fortress is going to be the new longest flying fairway driver available in the game. This can make big changes, and I think we're going to see a shakeup in a lot of players' bags.
The Fortress is the most meta-breaking of any of these new discs, in my opinion. It has less drag than a Sapphire, which gives it huge distance potential for a fairway, and with nearly the exact same turn and fade of a PD, it feels really dependable on ace runs and shots where you need a good finish. Lower lift means it will also perform better in wind, and I see this being the preferred water skip fairway most people bag as their do-it-all utility, ace run, windy condition fairway driver. Hopefully you can pull one in the sweet fart burst like I did, so you can crop dust your card in multiplayer.
Absolutely. That Fortress is certainly going to make some noise out there on the course, and it's going to be in a lot of players' bags. Let's move next and check out the one new distance driver coming to us in the World.
The World will be another instant community favorite, in my opinion. It borrows most of its stats from a turn BD2, and it has the lowest turn and fade of any distance driver in the game. And you may be asking, why is that cool? Turn is the variable that more than any other interacts with elevation, wind, and release angle to shape the flight of your disc. If you play in real life, you already know, a flippy disc is less reliable. And it's the same in game, except that they're using a turn value, a number, and that's part of the equation that creates the flight path. So the higher that turn number equals more randomness and generally less dependability. You have to balance that out with fade, obviously. But because this has low turn and low fade, it's less likely to veer off its intended line. It's better in wind without being a meat hook, and it's going to have a more similar shape even when you're aiming far downhill or really uphill. Basically, idiot-proof. It doesn't go as far as a Rive, but I'm sure lots of people will be willing to sacrifice a little distance for more consistency.
And the final disc we're going to talk about here, it's not brand new, but it's had very limited availability so far. It's the Prince. If you've ever wanted something that was kind of in the middle of a Rive and a Zeus, the Prince is exactly that. The average numbers of the Rive and the Zeus came together and they created the Prince. So it's a little bit of turn built in, but still a lot of stability to make sure it comes out at the end. So there we have it. 5 new molds coming to the game. You have the Sinus, the Crown, the Pine, the Fortress, and the World. And the Prince is becoming more readily available again if you haven't been able to get your hands on that. Let us know in the comments which one of these discs are you most excited about getting into your bag. For me, it might be the Fortress or the World, but for you, it might be something different. Let us know. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, stay bogey free. After going through the Sinus, we're going to take a look at the Crown. The Crown is a mid-range disc from Westside Discs coming into the game. No, it's not. It's not a mid-range at all. It's a good thing I got Reese doing this with me. I don't know. Think about these discs.